Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to coverage of the U.S. Amateur Championship from here at Strokers in Palm Harbor, Florida. Home of this year's U.S. Amateur Championship, home of the last 11 years of U.S. Amateur Championship. So this event brought to you by the American Pool Players Association, presented by our friends at PoolDog.com. I'm your host, Jason Bowman, joined by 2010 champion Raymond Linares. Raymond's been with us today doing some commentating here in the booth.
Yeah.
Raymond, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. I think you called it the business end of things, right?
This is the business end.
Yeah.
I kind of call it moving day at the U.S. Amateur
Nice.
Championships. You know, you get people going home and you start getting down to the nitty-gritty and seeing the class of the players that are left. I think we got a good batch of good players left. We had a couple good rounds this last round. We saw a former champion go out, and David Rowell, and I think we have the defending champion still in.
Abe Schaad, we're going to see him here momentarily.
Yeah, we have some really talented players vying for the title too. So it's going to be interesting. I'm really interested to see how the dynamic plays out between the hot seat match and then the semifinals. I really want to see how that shakes out.
Yep. So Raymond mentioned the hot seat match, and you kind of mentioned Abe. Abe is going to take on Blake Baker. Both these players undefeated still in this event. So, again, this is the hot seat match. One of these players is going to move on with a win into the finals.
Right.
The other will face the winner of the match that's going to be going on at the same time, which is going to feature – who do we have in that other match?
Chris Gentile and Bobby Stover.
Chris Gentile and Bobby Stovall. So we'll keep an eye on that match as well throughout. Want to run through real quickly the tournament format: race to 7, combination 8-ball and 9-ball, 5 games of 8-ball, 8 games of 9-ball. Of course, double elimination, which we've kind of already mentioned, and the winner of the lag chooses the break or the format. The winner of the lag in this match was Abe Schaad, who's going to take the break. Mm-hmm. And before we go to the table, we're going to hear a quick word from our friends at PoolDog.com.
Tired of the same old when you're buying billiard supplies? Come shop with the big dogs at PoolDog.com. You want pool cues? We've got over 700. Balls, cases, accessories, no problem. Want help with your game? How does hundreds of free training articles sound? Want to shop offline? We'll mail you a free catalog. Hit us up online, PoolDog.com, or call 866-843-3294.
All right, we're back, and Abe Schaad's not waiting around. He's ready for the break here. 8-ball set.
It looks like he's going for a head ball break, but from the more from the side rail. It's kind of interesting. Don't see that much, and it looks like he broke dry. And I think those are all solids, all up table, which means the stripes are really open. The 6 and 7 are tied up, so I think Blake is definitely going to go for stripes, try and come across table here and get above these balls and figure out his pattern.
This is Blake Baker. Blake is currently a resident of Las Vegas, but originally from Iowa. And what's interesting here, Raymond, is that these guys have played over the years. Fairly young guys. Abe is 27.
Right.
Blake, 24 years old, but both being from kind of that Midwest area.
A lot of good players.
A lot of good players, and they were both kind of in some junior league involvement or competition and have come across each other. So Abe said they're pretty even, so interesting.
That's one of the things I wish I would have had access to when I was young. Like when I was younger, I would tell my parents, I want to go play pool. I want to learn pool. And I was like 10, trying to tell them, hey, can you get me involved and stuff? And they're like, stay in school. Like, go
stay in school.
Go read a book. Whatever. So I wasn't until I was like 16 or 17 that I kind of had some more autonomy. I figured out how to go to the pool room myself.
Could do both, right?
Did that myself, but it's kind of like that's one thing that I really wish I would have, because the junior programs put out some great, Skylar's from the junior program, Justin Bergman.
Yeah, some great players.
It's a great way to foster passion and skill and get a lot of the early experience you need to accelerate and get good. I think Mike Siegel, you say it takes 8 to 10 years to become a good player. So if you can start when you're 13, that means you get guys like Skylar, who's 19, 20, or Fedor Gorst, or those guys who are breaking out into the field, into the public eye, but they've been playing for a decade. You know what I mean? And that's really valuable. So, yeah, it looks like Blake's clearing the rack, taking advantage of this open table. He's got to make sure to get a shot on that 9. It looks like the 9 is going to be the last ball he plays. And then the 8. So let's see how he addresses this. He's going to play this 14 and then maybe the 12 and the 9, unless he decides to play the 9 now and then use the 12 last. Both are good, but,
Blake advanced to the hot seat with a win over Chris Gentile.
Mm-hmm.
Abe defeated.
And I
Greg
think
defeat
that
Stovall, Bobby Stovall, and his.
That was an example of Blake really taking advantage of an opportunity. Chris missed that 1-8 ball that maybe he will make more often than not, but missed, and then he just kicked the door down, Blake, and snatched that match away. All right, call in his pocket.
I think these are probably the two fastest players in the tournament. So if it looks like your screen is on fast forward a little bit, you're
Bobby's
not.
the only.
They play fast.
I think Bobby's the only slower player left. Yeah, nice shot, smooth stroke.
Blake
Good
pockets at 8. He now leads 1-0 in a race to 7. These players again started in the 8-ball set, so we've got 4 more games of 8-ball before they switch to 9-ball. But good start for Blake Baker. First time here at the U.S. Amateur Championship. Actually mentioned in his bio.
Right.
Had never played before, but he became aware of the event when Abe won it last year.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so
it's like this guy's.
He's been tracking Abe ever since their days in the Midwest.
He's been trying to hunt him down.
Yeah.
He can't let him get too much of the hometown pride.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting to hear Abe I didn't talk to him for a long time, but I asked him about their history, and he just basically said they've been pretty even in the matches they've played. And
right.
Abe's a confident young guy, so
sure.
He seems to obviously have a lot of respect for Blake, and rightfully so. He's now leading 1-0.
Yeah, Blake looks comfortable at the table, and looks like he broke dry as well. So, and I guess literally the situation is reversed, right? A bunch of solids clustered together, and the stripes are all open. So I think we'll see probably Abrin take the stripes.
Abe, 27 years old, been playing pool since he was a young boy. 23 years he's been playing, started with his dad. Of course, we've talked a lot about him throughout the last few days. He is the defending U.S. Amateur champion. And he's worn that title well in this event, Raymond.
Right.
I mean, you know what that's like. You come in the next year and everybody's
Gunning
well aware of who you are the next time around. You may be flying to the radar the first time when you're new to the event like Abe was last year, but coming in this year, everybody's well aware. And
the hard part is, too, when you get to be around this age, life starts kind of forming around you, and it becomes harder and harder to be prepared at this time for the event. I know the year that I defended, 2011, school really started picking up for me, and it was hard for me to go in as prepared as I was in 2010, and I didn't perform as well. You don't have to qualify as well. You just show up to the tournament, so that's another perk,
Right.
But it gets, managing life a little bit and going into the event ready. It's hard. You got to balance the schedules and that kind of stuff. So it's impressive that he's here, and playing for the final again. That's really good showing. It also reminds people that it wasn't a fluke the year before, right? So
absolutely, yeah. You do kind of wonder sometimes, there's been a few guys over the years that have come into this event and won it, and then you just they fall off the radar. They come back the next year, they're out early, and maybe they just kind of fall off the face of the earth. But he looks like he's got a long, promising career in pool ahead of him if that's what he chooses to stick with.
Right.
Both these young players.
So he might play this stripe up in the corner and draw back for this 12 on the side, or he might play the 12 now. Yeah.
Jeremy Jones will be on with us again here in just a few minutes, but last match that we watched, Blake, on his bio, he talks about Moscone Cup, wanting to be on the Moscone Cup team. So what better way? You got Jeremy in the house.
That's awesome, yeah.
Got the eyeballs, a good set of eyeballs on you.
I mean, yeah, exactly. If you can get some playing time in front of the coach. I kind of love what they're doing now with how they're kind of fostering. They have not just the main guys that are likely going to make the team. They have a batch of like 5 or 8 other players that they try and
do some boot camps.
Do some boot camp stuff, and they get some time in and get to see and evaluate them on a closer level. It's kind of hard to get a good grasp of somebody just on an arbitrary weekend and seeing how they play, because anybody can play great or anybody can play terrible.
Yeah.
But getting a chance to work them out and see where their strengths are, see where their skills are, see what maybe they need to develop to be able to get to that next level to qualify for the Cup is good. And I think having atmospheres where you can foster that competition, but also, workshopping stuff is really valuable for players.
Yeah, Johan and Jeremy have done a great job. A couple weeks away from that Moscone. Did you say you're going to the Moscone? Not with the baby, right?
No, yeah. So my baby was due on Thanksgiving Day, So that's, I think, the week that they're doing the tournament. She of course came last week. She came a month early. So we're all just kind of like standing pat, and just taking care of her and taking care of mom. And
nice though, enjoy that
relaxing
holiday with the new baby.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. It's a part of my ambitions in life have been become a great pool player while having a balanced life and emphasizing the things that matter,
That's
like
good.
family and because I know how important that is to the development of yourself, and then also just to your kids and your family. Having a solid foundation is super good. So pool's always going to be here for me. And
Sure.
you see guys like Henry Brote still competing and winning. He won the U.S. Amateurs a couple years ago. He was in his, I think, late 60s or early 70s or something. So the game is definitely there for you if you can stay healthy and continue to compete.
So Abe Schaad very quickly evens things up at 1 game apiece in this race to 7. He will now have the break.
But yes, talking about the Mosconi Cup, I think that if you're an American player, that's the thing that you have to aspire to. You know what I mean? I mean, it's, for me, it's the gold standard. I get so excited every year just watching. And I know the last 5 to 6 years, my life has been focused around establishing the career stuff, getting the finances in order, kind of getting settled. But I know in the next 10 years, it's a goal of mine to go hit major events and put my game out there and try and maybe compete against those guys. Because I do it regionally. Like a couple months ago, I had a match where I don't get to, let's say, go into many tournaments fully prepared. But I said to myself, this month I'm going to train really hard. And so I had 2 weeks where I put in like 16 and then 12 hours against the 9-ball Ghost. And that's hard work, you know what I mean? Really focused. For me, that's what I do to get ramped up quickly. And I had one tournament actually where I beat Chris Gentile on the one loss. He beat me on the winner's side, and I beat him on the one loss side to knock him out. And then the 2 rounds later, I broke and ran a 6 on somebody, ran the whole set out. And that I'd never done that before. So that was really encouraging. And then the following week, I had beaten Rodney Morris here in a match, alternate break, 9-ball, 9 on the spot, race to 9. And I beat him 9-7. So that was a little bit of a like, hey, I can still play. I remember.
Just got to put in the time and effort. Yeah,
it's aligning those two things. It's having the talent, but also having the time, and pairing those two things with the work ethic. If you do it, then you get guys like that going deep in tournaments consistently. So, I know eventually down the line those things, my time will align. It's something that I want to do, but for now you got to work and get things together. So now I got to feed a baby girl, so. Pool doesn't have a strong reputation for having a 401k and
you got to be you really got to be good to do that to survive in the pool.
Even if
like
you're good, you got to manage your money good too. It's not just about So, but still love the game, and it's something that'll always be here. So.
Did you get another one? You got another one?
No, that's mine, I think.
Oh, you got one.
Yeah.
Go show it on the screen.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to see it? Yeah, let's see that. Bring me that. Let's bring that bad boy up here.
Okay, look, we
gotta wait though. We'll wait till break. We don't want to do it in the middle of the rack, but
no problem.
I want to show we're gonna show the folks what kind of food we're eating here at.
And by the way, Strokers has probably the best food of any pool hall that you'll go to. Try the Freddy Shrimp.
You wouldn't think you'd get a great steak here, but man, you get a great steak.
You get everything.
Making
all right, so
again.
Looks like we're probably taking stripes if we can. I mean, is this? Well, the 8-ball is blocked by this stripe down here, so that's a problem. And so is the 2, and the 7's also blocked by another stripe. So offhand, I think the stripes are all more or less open. It's whether or not he wants to go for them. I think he's looking at maybe the 9. I kind of like playing this combo and come across table and maybe leave that ball hanging up. You know what I mean? But he's going right at it and fitting it as a combo. I kind of like going the other way. Because then you're going into stuff here, and you got to get a good lucky bounce. But, I mean, it worked out favorably. But I kind of liked playing that 13 into that stripe and then coming across table and just kind of leaving a similar situation like this, but reverse the balls. And then you don't have to go into anything. You don't risk scratching or getting hooked, because that could have definitely happened. But it worked out. And he made a nice shot. He cut the ball well. So there's that.
Blake going to grab that bridge. Again, if you're just joining us, this is the hot seat match of the U.S. Amateur Championship. We've been here
side finals.
Yeah, Strokers in Palm Harbor since got started on Wednesday with the women's division, Wednesday and Thursday. Men's or open division started on Friday, and here we are, final day, down to just 4 players left in this event. You're seeing 2 of them here, both undefeated. This is Blake Baker at the table.
Yeah, I think he can see this 12 ball through the 2 and the 8. And I'm not sure if he has the edge of the 10 to maybe play the combo, but I think he's just going to put a stripe and go 2 rails forward. Oh, it's 1 rail. He saw the left side of the ball. But losing his cue ball a little bit, it's kind of on the edge of some stuff. Now, I can't tell if he can just see the 10 full enough to make it and get shape on this 12. See, there it was real important not to get behind the 7, right? You want to kind of leave yourself options where you are, playing to this area here, so you can maybe play 1 of the 2 balls. It looks like he's going to go up table and try and come back down and get shape, which I think is fine as long as he gets shape on this first ball. So he went rail first. And I think 1 rail position back out to here is what he wants, because then he's got, if he ends up a little bit on this side, he can play the ball here, a little bit over there, he can play the 10. Just trying to get to an area, give himself options, not be too forced to go one way or another. So he's recovering well. And I think he's using a keelwood shaft. Is that a keelwood shaft that he's using, like Bergman does?
Let's see if he notes it on here. Devaney Q's.
Yeah, Devaney.
US Open Predator.
I think Bergman has a Devaney, doesn't he? And Bergman has a Devaney with a keelwood shaft. Is that what it is? So it might be something.
He didn't mention the shaft specifically.
Lomax, that's right. But yeah, I haven't hit with. I don't think I've been able to hit with one, but he says they feel great, from what I've heard online. Okay, good 1 rail shape, and he's on the right side of the ball at least, where you just cut the ball in. Just got to avoid a little bit of the congestion here. It's almost like he can go 3 rails exactly, draw above it, and just go long cushion, short cushion, and just avoid the side. And you've got a big area here. You don't have to get super close.
No, he's going to eat now.
Nice shot.
Pocket set 8 in the corner. Takes a 2-1 lead.
Great.
All right, let's show this food before Raymond stuffs it in his mouth here. Let's look at this bad boy. Here we go. So we've been talking about the food. I don't know how well you could see it, but this is a steak and egg wrap, which I don't even know if that's on the – man, that smells good too.
Thing is, you kind of ask them for stuff and
they
just
make whatever. Like I've yet to like say something that they don't make.
Yeah, I mean Freddie's a chef, so he'll just do whatever you want type thing. But I saw Jeremy ate it. He said it was really strong.
Yeah,
so
I had it this morning, and Jeremy had it. Now Raymond's eating it.
So
you go enjoy. Yeah, you go enjoy. We'll bring Jeremy back out. Quick update on this other match too. Bobby Stovall leading 2-0 over Chris Gentile. They're going to have to add that one to the menu now, Jeremy. That's a keeper right there.
Yeah, a little Sunday brunch
steak and egg
burrito wrap. Oh, unfortunate kiss there. And he changed his break where he was breaking from, and I like that because I know he can break the balls well from the center, and he wasn't getting any results from that second ball. But I kind of talked about it earlier with these two that I kind of felt like the hot seat might be a pretty flawless match from both of them. And I think besides that unlucky kiss right there and a couple dry breaks, as far as the runouts, it's been pretty perfect. Could be because they both know each other. They know they need to play well. And they're both maybe a little comfortable with each other. Probably pretty decent friends being from the same area and competing a lot. Now with Blake in Vegas, but so it's been a while since he, a year or so since he's been in that area where he's from. But
yeah, well, I mean, how much players progress just in a couple of years. So who knows? The last time these guys played, it could have been 2 or 3 years ago. I don't know. Abrin may have come into his own in the last 18 months, and Blake might have been stronger back in the day, or vice versa. I don't.
And the funny thing is, even though they've been apart a little bit, they've been keeping keeping tabs on each other.
Well,
That's just how that
exactly
goes.
It was what Blake said. He didn't even know, he never played in the USAM before until he saw that Abe won it last year and decided to get involved. And here they are squaring off in this hot seat match. That's kind of an interesting little tidbit there.
Okay, maybe getting up on the 5 here. Oh, watch out. Oof. Okay, so now he's got to kind of put himself where he's got to cut the 7, and a little fortunate to have that 7 just because he was, I believe, trying to get on that 5 ball, trying to take care of that and get probably maybe the 3 and 4 out of there and then back up for the 6, 7 to end the run along with the 8. So he's going to have to turn the cue ball loose a little bit. The 7's thin. He'll want to direct the cue ball, but anytime it's thin, that means the cue ball is going to have some speed on it. Watch outside pocket. All right, so that's what happens when you have a certain game plan and you mishit a ball to start. It kind of starts to get you out of line a little bit. You got to maybe change your, obviously got to change your pattern, but also things usually normally quickly become tricky or touchy, you might say. Maybe that's the best way to say it. This is our hot seat match.
Yeah, we are running ahead of schedule. This match was not scheduled to kick off till 3 p.m., but we mentioned a little bit earlier, but we've gone continuous play in an effort not to have somebody sit for a very long time, particularly after the hot seat match, because they will, the loser of this match will have to pick up an extra round. They'll play the winner of the match going on between Chris Gentile and Bobby Stovall.
Okay, he's got the bridge here, so he may have to take some distance on this next shot. I think he would like to get on the 5 right now probably, but that may not be possible. May have to slide over for the 6 and then try and produce from the 4. I mean, slide over off the 6 for the 4 and then produce from the 4 to the 5. A lot of traffic out there with the stripes.
That match on table 5, Stovall and Gentile, is not currently being streamed. We'll see if we can peek over at it in between racks here. We had to bring down the bonus coverage due to some connectivity issues here.
It's going to be upsetting because he may have gotten the rail first on the 4, but it's awfully tight, and he's got a long distance 5 ball that appears not to have an entire pocket going by the 4. So just from that first shot, you could see with ball in hand on the 2, when he overhit it and the entire pattern changed, that, that's what happens. It's not so much to get you on the next ball, but as the rack continues, it can get you out of line.
Looks like maybe Bobby Stovall's taking a 3-0 lead in that match over Chris Gentile. So
Bobby got beat badly early this morning.
He lost to
7-0
he lost to
Abe.
Abe. Yeah, Abe really laid it on there. And
you got to think Bobby had a couple chances that maybe he wasn't happy with what he did. So quite possibly, having a little discussion with himself because he played super solid against David Raw in the last round. Played a great match, and now starting off in the 3rd, 4th position, playing a great match against Gentile. Now this 5 doesn't appear to go on the side, so it's going to be a long, tough one in the corner. It's got plenty of angle, so it's probably just like a medium speed here, going back and forth with the cue ball.
Abe really focusing on his footwork there.
Well, a lot of people aim with their stance.
Yeah.
Pretty good effort, but gonna not go, and wouldn't be surprised if we saw a safety here from Blake. Doesn't have to take much of a chance. You may shoot like a 2-way here. He knows on the 9 ball, if he puts just a decent stroke, gets up to the head string, he's not really leaving any type of shot. Well, and he looks comfortable, doesn't he?
They both, yeah. Just a couple of young guns here. unfazed by the pressure. Both pretty quick shooters. They don't take a whole lot of time.
That'll be the 14 in the side, then gathering that 9 off the side rail, the 12 by the upper left corner, and then he'll come down for those 2 near the 8, that being the 10 and the 11. Okay, he's coming back for these. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, everything's so doable. Not really a worry. So since he came back for this 10, he'll take the 11 off next and use the 12 to get towards the 8, maybe 1 or 2 rails. I'd probably draw back a little bit, maybe punch over to the left a little bit. That way you have a natural, whether you want to use 2 rails coming off this 12 here or 1 rail. Either way, he'll try to bring the cue ball very similar to where it's at now. Okay, so I don't recall A being down 1 game, much less 2 games the entire tournament.
Yeah.
Maybe in 2 years. I don't know. You were here last year, so.
I don't remember. I mean, you know, he was kind of dominating, and now we've got Blake Baker taking a 3-1 lead, but still a lot of time. This is a race to 7. They're going to play one more game of 8-ball before they switch to the 9-ball set. But like Jeremy said, we're not used to seeing the defending champ play from behind. And you do wonder, I mean, these guys have a little bit of history. I don't know mentally what that might mean, you know. We'll get that updated. It's now 3-1 in favor of Blake Baker.
Yes, I don't think psychologically it affects him. I mean,
yeah,
seems like the type of kid that plays every rack with,
sure.
with, you know, all his heart,
yeah,
you might say.
Still a long way to go.
Okay, he had broken scratched, but he had made balls on the break. Now this break I thought was dry breaking too often to keep going with it. Now he made it solid in the side, okay. So he got a ball down. Solid's very difficult looking to begin with the 3 the way it is. Okay, he's got to get at that 1 soon. That way he can get to the 3. Okay, he's going to shoot the 2 and go with a little inside here, a little inside English here, and try and bump the 3 ball. Needs to get a shot on something, though. He did. Well, now he's in a great position.
Blake originally from Iowa, now residing in Las Vegas.
Yeah, he'll shoot the 1-5-4. Oh, he's coming for the 3 now. Okay, so that's good. I didn't know that was very available. So now it should be across the table below the 4 a couple rails and shoot the 5 up in the corner, having the 4 last.
I tell you what, Jeremy, just watching these guys and their mannerisms, I mean, they'd make a heck of a doubles pairing, too. I mean, they both, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, look at the dress. They're both in the khakis and the black.
I feel like they could be a tag team, these two.
He overcut it, and that's going to hurt. Did he leave much of an offensive shot at all? Maybe the 15 in the corner. Otherwise, he may have to try and follow the 10 behind the 3 to the backside of the 3. All right, looks like he's shooting off the 9, and I'm not sure why. What's he going to do with the cue ball here? The 3's hanging. Yeah, he was trying to get him up behind the 8, and that was a difficult play, I thought. I thought that was a very touchy trying to keep him off the 3 ball there, and a little surprising. Oh, that's got to go, but he's got the 4 down long, so he should be okay. So he's going to have to shoot the 4 first, which naturally brings you out for the 5 in the same hole. This is our last game of the 8-ball, so you think these guys play a little fast now. Wait till the 9-ball gets going. Oh, great shot. Big shot here, too. He's just going to pinch it back 3 or 4 or 5 inches. I don't try to threaten getting too good on this ball and, you know, really try to not only make the 5 a little more difficult, but don't bring the 9 into play. Oh, great stroke. Good shot. Keeping it real simple. And Raymond was fun to have in the booth. What a nice guy. Real knowledgeable as well.
Very, very well spoken. Of course, you mentioned former champion is Blake Baker, folks. Now up 4-1 on defending champ Abrin Schaad in this head-to-head matchup of the undefeateds, hot seat match. So far, Blake Baker is in control. They're going to move to the 9-ball set, so we'll see how that changes things up. Abe is pretty
control here as well.
Pretty solid, yeah. What do we got here? 3-0 in favor of Bobby Stovall. Be quite the contrast in styles, and Bobby against either Abe or Blake potentially. Bobby's a little more deliberate, and
Chris too, I think.
Yeah.
Chris Chantala too, even though he's a younger man, but still a bit more on the slower side, especially in comparison to Abe and Blake. A medium tough shot here on the 4. Should come across for position on the 5, but needs to stay off the rail with the cue ball. As you see, he's got to get back for the 6. Okay, he overcut it. Looks like he got away with it a little bit. Chris still very happy to come to the table rather than continue to watch Bob shoot, even though he's not faced with the greatest of situations.
We'll continue to check back on that match as we move back to the featured match here. Hot seat match, if you will. Blake Baker with the break. First game of the 9-ball set. Baker with a 4-1 lead in this race to 7. 1 on the side.
And the 2's going to get a look at the 2, but really not anything to play at, I don't think anyways. He'll just bank the 2 straight down to where kind of the cue ball's at now, and let the cue ball drift over to the left using the 7, 3, and 9 as a safety. It's a real easy hit. Not a whole lot of ways to hit it bad, really. I mean, you got to really miss-hit the thickness of the hit on the 2. I'm not sure he sees that, but it's a pretty simple shot, and I think he'll see it. Just bank the 2 kind of where the cue ball's at now. Oh, he went with the other way. I think he may have gotten a partial snooker. I think anyways. Yeah, looks like it. So he's going to come across the 2, putting the 2 over by the 8, maybe floating down. Or no, he cut it. Okay, got a little piece of the 9 too. That helped. So it'll be a 1-rail kick just to the left side of the 7. I think anyways. Oh, he's going 2 rails to the back of it. Nothing too wrong with that, really. Got a chance to make it in the side. Oh, he missed it.
Ball in hand to Abe Schaad here.
It looks like he's going to punch to the left side of the 7, our left side, his right side of the 7. He may follow down for the 3 in the side, actually. Okay, nice shot. And it looks like probably a 3-rail safety on the 4 after he pockets this 3 ball and kind of lay the cue ball up behind the 8. He may get to where he can cut it in. That's what he'd like to do. All these guys, just like the best players in the world, they think very aggressively and want to run out if possible. And that's what he's going to do, yeah. So taking on the cut shot here, going right in between the 6-7 with the cue ball. Should be, that's pretty perfect. Now I'd like to go with top inside English, meaning a top running English, top left. Come 2 rails, just, you know, lay up on what would be kind of like the right side of the table, this area over here for a little bit of a cut shot on the 6. Not a problem. So this will be 2 rails, maybe gaining the 3rd rail with a little bounce. Oh, he hit that pretty light, and he caught rail first. So this is gonna bring up a much more difficult shot. Say, should have went from about a 6 difficulty. Now it's about a 7.5, 8 maybe. A lot of young straight shooters, and this is one of them, though. I overcut it.
All right. Huge opportunity now for Blake.
Very, very huge.
Reminder, though, both these players undefeated, which means, regardless of the outcome here, tournament will continue for both.
Yeah, they just got to win 1 out of the 2. When you get to that hot seat, it's sweet. You win 1 out of the 2 matches, and you're in the finals. Okay, Blake has gotten very comfortable. Pretty fast player as well, just kind of like old Hurricane he's playing.
Mm-hmm.
But
now shooting on the 9.
Yeah, for a 5-1 lead. So we've seen a scratch on the break from Abe that hurt, and then 1 missed ball, and that's all it takes at this level. 5-1. Okay, Bob's still up 3-0. A 6-9 jump combo right here. Oh, and he made it in the side, and he's going to look like get some type of shape on the 7 in the side.
Oh,
so there you go, and these are going to be conceded, it looks like. And Chris is like, let me get this game over with right here.
Yeah, he's not one to. He's like, yeah.
Oh, we got Raymond back in the booth. Snuck right in here on me.
Yeah, Jason's like, tap me out. So I think I saw Abrin missed was it 5 or 6?
He missed the 6. He overcut it, but he came from the 5. He kind of hit the 5 a little weak, or a little light. I shouldn't say weak's a harsh word, but a little light.
And
he caught the rail first instead of hitting ball first going, and it kind of spread over here instead of going towards the ball a little bit more, and ended up with a missable shot, really.
Yeah.
Should have been from 1 to where, he, maybe 1 out of 10 he misses it, to where it went to like a 3.5 out of 3, 3.5 out of 10.
Did they start with the 9 ball? Or is
no, they started with 8 ball.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, and Abrin probably likes his, even though being down, likes it having the break in the 9 ball. So that's a big game because now.
Oh, now he's in serious trouble.
Yeah, you build his confidence up a little bit, and he can start steamrolling.
Yeah, and he can come 2 rails or 1 rail right to where he's at now. And believe it or not, that's a drill that I kind of came up with myself for people that if you want to start trusting the stroke, and it actually comes up a lot to where you want to reposition the cue ball right where it's at.
Well,
I think he still got a shot at it. It's real close. I don't know.
You're saying?
But I was saying it's a great drill to really start trusting your arm swing speed, meaning the most information you can ever get looking at a shot, right, is shooting the cue ball from 1 point and then try to get the cue ball back to that point, meaning taking a 1 rail route, right at it, 2 rail route, right?
Yeah.
So you can really get dialed in on what your stroke's doing there.
Right.
It's something I do not a lot of anymore, but
Right.
it's actually pretty handy.
It'll tune you up.
Yeah, trust the ball rolling into position, you know,
Right.
rather than you forcing it around.
And that's when you know when a guy's really hitting the ball good, where he's just like, oh, just one rail, just to a dime, you know, just stops the ball right where he needs to. It seems like he's always got perfect shape.
He caught a little sliver of a
Full.
kiss, but he's going to come out just fine.
Smelling good.
And cut off the jump shot, too, because of the 5-ball being in the way as well.
Yep.
So a funny little kick with the side, with the corner pocket being right there on the low right. You want to go to this side rail, but you may have to go another route just because of that corner, and it's such a slight angle too. You know, like a.
It's hard to get a favorable position going this way, even though it's easier to hit the ball.
Right. That's why I might look at that 2 rails at it.
Yeah.
Up underneath, you got the side pocket. If you hit it full and square, you might get it to where you get a cue ball behind the 5-7 maybe. Or if you hit it thin, the cue ball might run back up table and leave some distance. I think this is the best kick shot with a high ball. And not real hard, like a medium speed again.
Yeah, but if he hits it like not flush, then they both come out to the middle. So there he hit it flush, but too hard to get.
Yeah, it's just, you know, you can't predict it all, right?
Yeah,
you got to just play what you feel like is your greatest chance to get another shot.
Yeah. And actually hitting that speed, you might you know,
get it to the end rail,
or,
yeah.
you know, it might go in. You know, you never know. So.
Okay, squeeze that one in a little bit.
He's pumping them in there now. Looks like he smells blood and he's going for it. Careful now.
Yeah, that ball will get away from you on these tables quickly. That's what's happened here. He can't float this one. This has got to be 3 rails back.
And that's where I think a little bit more experience will let him manage this like high adrenaline state.
Yeah.
And just remind him like, okay.
Oh, he did float it. Great shot.
He hit it. I mean, he's hitting the ball great right now. But,
yeah,
you know, he doesn't have to maybe come with a great shot, you know, maybe just.
Sure.
Those little things. But still a talented player getting up there, putting the balls in the hole.
And come up for the side.
Spin the ball. And he was going to concede the 9.
And so.
On the hill, Blake Baker, 6-1. Strong. And you had mentioned in the last match that you had the expectation that one of these guys going to, you know,
play real well. I kind of thought both will. And,
right.
you know, Abe had a scratch on the break and then a missed ball, but he kind of got himself in a position to miss it.
Right.
But he hasn't really played horribly or anything. It's just been a lot of Blake. That's all.
It's just one of those things when the guy gets up and he, you know, gets to go and it's hard to reel him back in. And
well, and these guys know each other from the Midwest. They battled before. They know they have to play well. They're probably pretty decent friends. So, you know, they're both in a good position to have a high finish here.
2 balls.
And you can see the skill set's pretty high as well.
Sure. 2 balls in the break.
Yeah, and I would just settle here, stop, go back and forth on the 2, get straight in on the 3, then you can stop for the 4. So really no problems at all.
Yep.
I mean, some work, of course, but not any problems.
Right. Yep. He looks smooth.
Yeah, and this one here is trust you're going to get it there. Don't force it. Nice long full stroke. No problem going back and forth.
Gotta go.
Yeah, and that's what I mean, though.
I think his tip came down a hair. It didn't go all.
Well, be honest, when you get a little quick with the stroke, it's one thing I teach a lot of is you send away a little bit of a flat cue ball. Instead of it rotating right from the tip, it gets sent away flat and then starts to rotate, and then it doesn't have much energy.
Right.
What happens is the contact between cue ball and object ball really knocks a lot of.
I think we're seeing the ball wrong. I think we thought the 7 is.
No, this is the.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. Then we're right. Yeah, you're right, Jeremy. I think
it takes away the energy, the collision between cue ball and object ball. When you send that partially flat ball away, it really knocks everything off of it.
And here's the thing: you have an explosive player that is going to now fire back at you in the 9 ball. You have a chance just to shut him out.
Oh yeah.
The match could be over, done, 7-1. That's a great way to go into the finals, you know. And now, you know, not to say that Abrin's going to run the set, but.
Well, he's in the chair for a while, though.
Right, yeah. You know, you never know. So.
Okay, so he's got to. Don't think he's going to go up and down. This will just be smoothing this one in. Come above the 9 a little. Oh, he hit it really light.
Yeah.
Okay, and held for the side.
That's a
Great
good
shot.
Let's see if he's going to just roll it natural.
I'll tell you, though, without really knowing Blake very well, but I have been around him this last year in Vegas, being there so much, and he lives there now. But he's the type that's not going to carry a mistake very far with him, I think.
Yeah.
You know, that's what my gut tells me. Kind of a refreshing young man, really, and being around him. He's always positive, always got something nice to say.
Yeah. I've always said short-term memory is like the best thing you can have as a football player.
Yeah, and that's
good
with
or bad,
good
you
and
know?
bad both. Yeah,
right,
very much.
Yeah, you gotta not dwell too long because you can get complacent on the good stuff, right? If you, I won this and I won that, and then you stop training and forget that you gotta, the hard work got you there, not.
Yeah, and that's dealt with on all levels of the game and all sports. Really, you hear about it. Are they going to have a letdown after this big upset they had in the last match? We're talking about, maybe college basketball and the March Madness. Or, they talk about it in pro football. They talk about it in all kinds of sports. And that's both good and bad. Like you said, it doesn't have to be after a mistake. It could be after, making a great shot as well. And here we go. This is what you're talking about. Probably going to sit again for a rack. He's got a great shot on the 1, come up above the 2.
Looks like he's getting his extension.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the young players prefer the extensions over the bridge.
Yeah, and, the equipment's evolved so much that I feel like I wish we still had some governing rules about the equipment, but there really aren't any anymore.
I've seen some gadgets, I'll tell you.
Yeah. Well, it used to be,
Yeah.
you had to use the bridge.
Right.
It's just how it was. And you couldn't have long cues and every weight and all that. There used to be some rules against some things. But
I remember hearing a story about Corey coming down to South Florida and playing one of the top players there, giving him the 7-ball and playing with the bridge. Shot.
Yeah.
And it just would. And,
Yeah, but the way he holds it, though, he
would like curl it around his arm.
It's more or less a third arm, is all it is.
Pretty interesting.
Yeah, I got a dose of that. I wasn't playing, but I was unfortunately had to keep loaning a friend of mine money with he was playing Corey some one pocket like that. And, and then my friend was a good player, a really good player.
Right.
But he was spotting Corey, and I was like, well, I'm not sure you can win even.
You're going to like any of that. Yeah. Yeah, he's interesting. Well,
okay,
that's authoritative.
Yeah, he's going to have to take a little cut on the 7, though. I mean, I don't think he's going to go short side here.
Maybe going 3 rails above the side there, just taking.
Yeah, just 10 inches above the 9.
So upset there. I used to play the Toro, we would call mum pool, where we play like $5 or $10 sets, race to 5, 9-ball or 10-ball, and every time you made a sound, it would cost you $5.
Oh wow, like a hickey.
So any of those little, any of these little like reactions that you see, some guy that got beat out of me really fast because I didn't want to lose $30, but beat him for 10.
Right.
Or get beat for that plus
Sure.
So it kind of like I learned to kind of internalize all that stuff and not give. So I saw Abrin there to kind of like make a little like antsy emotional reaction, and sometimes that can really work against you to settle your opponent down, those kind of things. But
yeah, and I think the guys that you have different personalities, right?
Yeah.
So if you're a talker or if you're somebody that's a little more animated, I'm not saying get rid of that totally. But you have to have it in check.
Yeah.
You have to have it in its best form for yourself. I like to see some personality. Now, don't go out of your personality at all. But
nice out.
And most, the percentages say that most people are going to keep better focus without all that. But then you're going to run across. Yeah, you're going to run across some that aren't that way. So.
It's so funny because like you see guys like Earl who can still play at a high level but are super explosive and emotional, and they kind of rant and do all this stuff, and it's hard to walk that line, But I think Earl can still play at a super high level if he just checks it down and doesn't become a caricature.
Right.
Like at the Turning Stone, I saw him just run over Jason and play like 1984 Earl, like just amazing, and just never once, you never saw him look to the side, never saw him make eye contact with anybody in the crowd, just got down.
Went at it, yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and, you know, for Earl, I think, you know, just like anybody, you got to see which part of that's hurting you and which part's helping you.
Right.
You know, it's probably as smart as Earl is, or anybody that's, you know, like Earl, you could figure it out.
I think he's got a lot of game in him, too, if he can
absolutely
check that, you know.
No, I watched him at the Predator World 10 Bowl, and he played a couple fabulous matches.
Yeah.
You know? All right, a little safety here behind the 7,
Yep.
a little floating it.
Float, kiss.
Oh, watch out for the gap. Shopping at the
Oh,
gap.
no, yeah, he's got it full on.
Yeah, I think he does.
I think
And
he's
he's
gonna
looking
try
to
and
roll
come.
his ball here.
Yeah.
Well, that's surprising because, you know, at first glance, the 5.6 looks a little funny, but it's really not that bad at all. So I wouldn't be surprised. I thought he'd just pop this in or try to pop it in and go the rail and over for the 2. Now it looks like he may level out and roll this ball in and try and get on a 2.9.
Yeah.
But the run out's there, though. I mean, the
Sure.
5.6 isn't that goofy with the 4 being near and the 7 over the hole.
It's kind of like almost like accepting what the table gives you, you know?
Yeah.
It was natural for him to get down here, and he's like, hey, it's a chance for me to.
Yeah, maybe a two-way he had in mind, you know?
Sure. Not losing with that shot and giving himself a chance to win, so that's good. I wonder if Abe can see. He's getting the jump cue, but, man, if he could see the top half of the
I don't think
one.
he can, yeah. I think that's where the
Yeah.
camera really fools you.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely going for the jump cue, so it tells me he definitely can't. But if he could, then that's a good way to go up table. But
And now, consequently, he might hit the bottom side of the 1, trying to keep the cue ball down here on the bottom and let the 1 go up table somehow, some way.
right. Yeah, I think that the jump cue has become such a tool for a lot of especially young guys who just embrace it. They don't have a opinion one way or another, and they just use it as much as they can for offensive and defensive stuff. You know, it's part of the way they can get in and out of situations.
Okay, he's
He came
going to
over
need
the
some
top
good
and went up.
speed
Yeah.
on this,
If
and
he
I'm
get
not
it
sure he's
bounce.
going to get it. Yeah, he did. It
Yeah.
worked out.
I think he left the top part of the 1, but
Yeah.
didn't sell out of pocket.
No, it's just going to be play the 1 up mildly and put him on the end rail, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't really try to get the snooker here, I don't think.
No.
You know, if maybe you get him over the 9 or something like that, banking the
Right.
1 up in the middle of the table, you might leave a 1-7 combo that's very makeable.
I think you just try and miss that 3. If you can just miss the 3 with the 1 and get the cue ball on the bottom cushion, that's
He needs to
That's-
triple him up here, and he did. Look at that.
Yeah.
He tripled him up on the combination, so he's made things very difficult.
right.
A little fortunate there, and that's why maybe I don't try to get the 1 so far. I make sure I'm leaving the 1 really out in the middle and the cue ball on the rail.
Right. Yeah, because if you hit a little fuller contact, then maybe you might be able to dig them behind the 2, really.
Maybe, yeah.
Or treetop them on the 9. You really
Well,
just play speed for the cue
Yeah,
ball
well, I
there.
want the cue ball cut off.
Right.
I don't want the bottom half of the cue ball available when I'm not getting the snooker. I know I'm not getting him snookered, right? So.
But you have a good touch for that feel to the back rail.
Oh,
playing so
yeah.
much 1 pocket.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a big shot, comes up a lot. Play the half ball, float the cue ball, die on the back cushion. And I like the ball maybe leaning towards this way because you got obstruction, so it's hard to sell out a shot even if you do leave him the full ball. Let's see what Abrin's
So
doing
you're looking
here.
at trying to kill the ball with a lot of right up in that 9 and 5,
I
9
think
and
you
5
just
and 6. Excuse
Thin
me.
the left of the 9 and go, 2 cushions back up table.
I don't know, maybe.
The left of the 1, I mean, and go.
I kind of feel like he can cut the 1 and go the right side rail and really kill the cue ball up on that 5-6. I kind of feel that way, but the camera can fool us there.
Yeah. It's kind.
It doesn't take much to be off on that shot.
Right, because I think for him to hit it full enough to do that, the 1's got to go into the 5. And hitting a little thin, it's easier for it to leak out going this way. You know what I mean? Like it's easier for him to give up the bottom part of the ball there because you have to hit quarter ball to avoid it.
Well, that's another one of those
one
one-pocket shots where I would maximum right English, where
Right,
it really
exactly. You hit it
checks up
full
and
thin,
checks up
yeah,
on that right side
exactly.
rail.
And he was far away. He just wanted to make the contact, so he just hit it.
He left him a gap, I
Look
think.
at this. Did he do it?
Yeah, he's definitely got a piece of it. I'm not sure how much, but he's definitely got a piece.
Yeah, and this you have to hit a little firmer if you want to get it on the.
Might curve at this.
Yeah.
Might curve at this, trying to drop the cue ball on the 2 and let the 1 just kind of go where it goes.
It's an important shot for Abe. He's trying to figure out how he can get the winning position.
Yeah, like I said, I might curve at this and try and just hit it full and let the cue ball coast towards the 2 and the 1 end up on the side rail. Maybe I get lucky and jelly him behind the 9, you know?
And if he's, I don't.
Is he edging this ball?
Yeah, that's tough. That's
yeah,
really tough.
that was a hard way to win.
That's called the danger. Totoro calls that the danger zone when the ball's in that, like, between the first diamond and the second diamond, you're up table. You can scratch from a lot of positions, and it's hard. You have to hit the ball so thin that you're now settling out the 1. It's going to hang over the corner, so now you're just relying on pure cue ball cover. And that far away, having to travel, and the path isn't natural to get behind the ball. You got to go to, like, the third and fourth cushion to get behind the balls. It's a tough proposition. I think I like your shot a lot better. And look, he's playing straight for the 2-9.
Yeah. Feels good about
That's interesting, yeah. I mean, that's how he beat Chris as well. The last game, he got on a combination, and he hit it pretty well. So, and he can go up table, actually, having the angle like this.
Yeah, but it's not as much cut as you think with the 2 being the way it is. It's not like a cut in the hole, right? So it changes quickly, and how much is I just try to make it.
Yeah, he punched it a little bit. I kind of like the smoothing,
yeah.
Hitting it like nice medium speed. But
don't
not
worry
chop
about
at
it. Yeah.
Just kind of let the cut do the thing and just go all in on making it. But got a little fortunate again that he's so close to the 2. Uh-oh, don't make the 7. Oh, boy.
And he left him a little gap.
I think he left him the gap again. He's sick. It was like the 3rd shot, So if he can't see the ball to make it, another variation of that banking the ball up table and trying to get behind the 9 maybe in 1 cushion if he can avoid hitting the 3. Or you can go all out to chop it in the corner. I think he kind of looks – I get the feeling he wants to shoot.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
Yeah.
I hit it perfect.
Hit it, ginned it. Look at that.
Hit
What
it
a great
great.
shot.
And a medium tough little shot on the side, one he should handle though. And again, the 5-6 is not that tough of a proposition with the 4 near. I mean, you're going to play a 4-7 most likely.
Do you like you like getting an angle on the 4-7 so you can come across and leave the 4 down, but get commit to one side of it?
I think so. I think the 7's up enough. You should be able to control it really wherever, as long as you're not too far away.
Right.
The problem with being far away and trying to get across is you add more speed, and what if you make them both? You know?
Like now he can't do that, right?
Yeah, you actually got about the worst place possible, meaning the cue ball you either wanted to be straight or more angle, because now you're going to the right side rail with the cue ball, right?
Right.
And
so
the 4 could lay over, yeah.
Yeah, you're saying either here or here.
Oh, he got a great kiss there, and a perfect angle to come behind the 5 for the same pocket.
You mean punch it, draw back there?
Yeah. I don't, I think with these guys, very good. And I think that was the right play, hitting it with speed and knowing that he's playing the 4 to where it's not going in. Oh, boy, side pockets.
You saw him just jump up. He was shooting the 5 before he got done with the 4.
Side pocket problems right here, ladies and gentlemen. If he puts a lot of speed, I think he may be able to dodge it. But
I feel like I can hear his mind going like, oh man, why did I get up?
You got to look where to err from, right?
Right. Yeah.
I think he's got to put speed on this to dodge the scratch.
Pop it.
Yeah.
He missed it. A little bit rushing, I think. I felt like he was already thinking about the 5 while he was still down on the 4 and didn't
Yeah, well, that's a couple opportunities missed.
And this is great for Abe because this is a shot where as long as he just pockets the ball, he's going to go for. I like going 4 rails there personally, but he still smoothed it in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of just let it in, just make the ball. You don't have to worry about being too delicate, and the natural angle is going to take you around. But he spun it in nice.
Well, and Abe's making balls on the break, so.
Again, now it's just 6-4. We were talking about a 7-1.
Yeah, it should have been 7-1, and then again 7-3. So.
Right.
We'll see what the pool gods do as far as giving Blake any more opportunities.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if one of these 2 players took a break in the next rack or so, depending on what happens here. Cutting back to the table 5 action, 4th place match. Christian Teal find himself down 5-2 against Bobby Stovall. And looks like he's got a cut on the 7. I think he's tempted to play a stop shot safe there. But also thinking about not wanting to let his opponent back at the
Yeah.
table.
You know, especially, I mean, you want to play percentages, but
Sure.
I think the percentage there was to try and make it.
Yeah. I just wonder if he, like, going forward, he's close to the scratch, and then he's got to hit it 3 rails or something, you know, really juice it to get shape back for the 8.
One on the side, not going to get the offensive shot on the 2 he wanted, at least not an easy one. You don't think he's probably cutting at this. I like edging this and using the 6, I think, to just run the cue ball.
Just coming up table.
Yeah, it's straight up table.
Yeah.
Should have pretty good control.
Really interesting to see how this match turns out.
Well, wide open here. Whoever gets the first shot here, again, should get out. But
And that's the thing. I kind of look at these two when I'm in these spots where it's a short race. You know, you're at the 4 or 5 game mark. I tell myself I'm in 1 inning territory where I can close a set in 1 inning. Whether I'm, you know, at 4 or 5 or 6, you know, I could run this rack, break and run 2. You know what I mean?
oh yeah,
So I think both these players are going to be mindful of that. This is a good shot here. If he can get past the 9, that would have been devastating.
yeah. He's got the soft kick. Now the thing about this soft kick is, ignore trying to get the 2 all the way back down. You have to be willing to understand that for the best way to secure the hook, he's going to lose the cue ball if he hits it to where the 2 comes all the way. But if he plays
He
it,
hit it way too hard as well.
yeah, he was trying to really hook it and get it in there.
Yeah, I think he's showing some nerves right now.
I got him on a funny angle right here, I'll tell you that.
I think just a high ball will get him past the 9.
And all the way back down?
Yeah, just it'll stun, shift, and
Now he
He's
wants
good.
that angle as well here. The 4 is pinned down on the bottom rail. I think that's the 4. Yeah, it is.
down here.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's either the 4 or the 8. Yep, it's the 4. Good speed. Get in the kitchen there. Just about. Good shot. Well, this is heating up. Just turning into 6-5 really quick. Did not use the rail. Just drew back a hair. Slow rolling ball.
I was going to say, he doesn't mind slow rolling them, though.
Yeah,
not one bit. I've
Yeah.
seen him do it all week, really.
Nice.
Do it a little bit more in 8-ball, you know, when you get in situations. But
Yeah. All right, 6-5. The winner of this match is going to claim the hot seat and guarantee himself a shot in the finals. Loser's going to have to go deal with the winner of the match between Chris and what's his name? Steve? Mr. Stovall?
Bob.
Bobby.
Bob. Yeah,
Bob
Bob.
Stovall, yeah. So it's just fun seeing people come out and really push each other and compete, you know, for a title that means something to both of them. Obviously, they're both trying really hard and have probably put in a bunch of hours to get ready and get here. It's a very prestigious tournament, so there's a lot of pressure. And Abe's making a great comeback, you know, defending his title well right now.
And he's making balls on the break. So, I mean,
See if he
most
gets the
likely
wing
he's
ball.
going to have,
Wing ball's high.
yeah, nothing yet.
Nothing yet. Just made
Tough
noise.
shot on the 1. 9-ball?
Oh, the 9's going to
Oh,
hold up.
my.
Oh,
So even if
Could've
it
been
doesn't,
worse.
it's going to make a big pocket for the 1. Even if he doesn't get a 2-9, he
Yeah.
should get the 1 down.
that was really close to being just.
I wouldn't go for the
deflating.
9 here myself.
Oh,
I go
no,
for the
no.
run out here.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
3
yeah.
goes all the way up with the 4 next to it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd try to make the 1, and if I make it clean, I got a 2-9.
Sure.
If not, I'm pretty sure I'm making the 1
2.
about 100% of the time with the 9 there, right?
Yeah.
And the 2's near, so getting short side, and maybe the 3 even passes the 4.
I think
So-
it does actually.
So maybe
yeah.
short side's not even necessary, really.
Yeah. I think.
Now,
I think Blake's just got to settle himself and make a clean.
he's shooting the
decision.
combo. Do you think that a couple mistakes have led him to maybe want to get this over with?
Yeah, I think he's the last couple innings. I think he's just been kind of stretching himself too thin, trying to like just end it. And that I don't think that ball was really going to go. It was
it was makeable, but it was a difficult shot. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
And he's left.
I liked your shot though. I like securing the ball.
Yeah, you're going to run out. These guys are run-out players. And maybe you get the 2-9 if you hit the one real clean without moving the 9. You get a 2-9 combo, but you're making the one like 100%.
You could also maybe get a 2-9 carom. Like there's a few different things you can do there.
Could have set up.
Yeah.
He's in a bad spot here though because of the jump cue. He's got to come off the one, floating behind maybe the 6, 7, 8, and I'll tell you.
Maybe consider billiarding the 9 and just.
What, like elevating here?
Yeah. It's tough because
you're behind the one so far. You got to hit it full plus get the draw.
He's left a gap the last 2 times he's played the safety going up table, right?
Yeah.
And
would you ever kick the one? Would you ever kick
absolutely.
the one?
Yeah, kick the one on the side.
And maybe the cue ball comes back. You know what I mean?
100%.
Like.
I think if I'm thinking I got my head on straight, I think that would be the shot if I was trying to play safe.
Yeah.
And favor, the half side, the low half ball, send it one. If you can play speed to put it on the back cushion, then
or even out in the middle with all those balls there. You got a lot of room for good things to happen.
But definitely play speed for like on this line, what I mean? So he's talking about coming here and then sending the ball out here somewhere,
right?
Wherever that might go.
He's
elevating, playing the billiard.
Hit it great, but
he's a real offensive player. So
he's not going to get a roll, and it's going to probably cost him the hot seat.
Yeah.
And that didn't cost him the hot seat.
Sure.
A lot of great playing by Blake at the beginning of this match is what cost him the hot seat. So nothing really Abe can really be too disappointed about it.
But I think that kick is a good call. Something hopefully he'll look at after the tournament and try to incorporate. So.
Well, Blake Baker.
Yeah, hot seat.
That's right.
Winter side, and I think
a hard worker.
Abrin will probably feel like he let him off a little bit, but close match, 2 offensive players, and a lot of pressure. So sure, but yeah, great match, and Blake Baker now winter side champion. So it looks like Abrin's got one more barrel. So are we in the 8-ball now?
Yes, we're in the 8-ball, the first game of the 8-ball, actually.
Yeah, correct. There you go.
A lot of pressure, obviously, on Chris Gentile to keep his
composure
and keep his tournament life going.
Right, because Bobby's on the hill.
Yeah, 6-2.
Well, Chris is definitely a seasoned player here in Florida. Good, solid amateur, very capable. So if he can get the opportunities, he can definitely string some racks together. That was a exciting match. I think that kick was a good call, Jeremy. I think that was probably the most high percentage shot.
Yeah, and I didn't mind him going down with the carom. I understand he could hit the kick really well and leave one little window, and the guy banks the one on the 9, and you're like, oh man,
Right.
So, just we're not here to say what is exactly right. Entertain some different shots and
sure. Okay, Chris with the break. Made a stripe.
Cue ball's getting back to that end rail. Is he going to get a shot on the side? Yes, he is.
Nothing like too tied up.
He got a little funny shot on the side to start.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, and I unmuted myself to make this comment, I do find it interesting listening to you guys as a very low-skilled player, just the concept of sometimes there isn't a right shot.
Right.
Really, sometimes it's just about playing the probabilities, and then that would come down to knowing your probability of making that shot. So even knowing what would be right for each individual can change from person to person based on their particular skill set. That's
I mean, I think
it's one of the reasons why pool is so cool.
Yeah,
that's super interesting.
In one pocket, a lot of people used to say Efren was taking the wrong shots before they knew him and his skill set, and he would do some stuff in one pocket like, that's way the wrong shot, you shouldn't do that, and then he just kept executing.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, I guess there's an idea of what the right shot is, and then there's Efren, so.
Sure. And you got to be we had Steve commenting about, different things on, you have to make decisions, know what your capabilities are, and You know, it's like golf. We got to be our own caddy. We got to be our own coach.
Yeah.
You know, been around them pro caddies a bit, and they told me some things that happened inside the ropes and whatnot. And
Right.
and it's a difficult thing for a caddy to tell one of them pro golfers, hey, you don't have that shot. You know, like that's not your go-to shot, or that's not something. You know, so we got to play differently.
How do you communicate that, right?
Yeah,
So
that's what I
'cause you're
mean.
managing the ego, and you're managing.
Yeah. And they know each other really well, but it's still
Sure.
in the heat of the moment.
Right.
You know, it's easy to point fingers. You know what I mean? So,
Right. That reminds me of that scene of Happy Gilmore when Shooter McGavin tells the guy, 3-iron, huh? You're fired.
yeah, right. And don't give me. And it is very, very fickle like that out there on the PGA Tour. Believe it or not.
Right. Shooter McGavin. That guy spends more time in the sand than David Hasselhoff.
Yeah, right.
Oh man. Well, Chris has got I think a good out. He made that nice shot in the side, and got position on another stripe, and looks like things are pretty open. Just got
a little off angle here, so we probably want to try and pinch hold this. Yeah, for that ball on the side rail, most likely.
Yep. That's a good shot, and then
just come
slightly
across
table. Yeah.
He's got the 8 in the side. If he fell a little straight by the 5,
he's got the 9 as well.
He's got the 9. That's right. The one's up top.
So he'll probably just play. I'd imagine he'd play
9, 12, 10.
Yeah. And Chris has really slowed his pace down as well. Something to note because he's usually a pretty flowy player, but I think he realizes he's really got to manage this opportunity to have the control of the table and try and maximize it. And now he's committed to the run out, so he's got to get out, right?
Yeah, an 8 ball, will slow you down a little bit more for sure. Just the way the game is.
So we saw a comeback mounted in the last match. I wonder if we're going to get something similar here. Sometimes a lot of those matches end up going that way where you get, 3 or 4 matches in a row. They're all double hill.
Oh, yeah.
And you get a guy, who survives. One's like 6 double hill matches in a row, and the guy's got 30% more gray hair by the end of the tournament. But
sure. Okay, doesn't want to flirt with the 2 too much, and that's what I was thinking. That 8 in the side by the 5.
Now he's got to float this.
Can he go into the 3 though? Maybe.
I think it's I think it's probably if he tries to, he'll go behind it.
It might shave it and still go behind it.
Yeah, I think he's got to.
That happens more often than you think.
I think he's got to baby it. You see, it's I think he did. I think
he's dead behind it.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know. I don't see any bad emotions like big shrugs, but I think it is behind it.
I think he wants to eat his cue right now.
Yeah, the
brutal.
Yeah, can't tell all the camera angles, but I'd like to place a little wager he snookered here.
What do you do to give yourself a chance to win?
I don't know. That doesn't go on the side. Where the 4 is, I don't
maybe
think.
Kick to the short cushion and try and hit the left side of it and play it off the 1 on the side or something.
The 5, yeah. But I think so. Yeah, I think so. I think that's your best opportunity.
It sucks because it's so close and you want to hit it a little firmer, than the ball wants to open up on you and it might hop. That's really tough. Yeah, I think that that last shot on that stripe, I think it would have been more prudent to hit it with a hair of inside and commit to coming below
to the rail now
slightly. You know what I mean? Where he shot this ball down the rail, and instead of going above where the 2 was in the danger zone,
come on down with the cue ball.
Down between the 3 and the 8, and then you kind of take the 2 out of it. And then that way, even if you're below the 3 and you're below the 10, you can cut into it, go into the 3 and stop it, and at worst you have that ball on the side. But if you're full, then you can just draw up and shoot the 8 in the opposite corner. He is going to go to the short.
Yeah, this is the best opportunity to make it. I mean, everything else is
good shot. Good shot.
Whoa.
One time, baby. Wow, what a shot.
What a great hit that was.
That was a fantastic attempt.
And he put a lot of pressure on.
Absolutely.
If he puts the 8 out of place somewhere, now Bob has
that's like
a lot of freedom.
Rook to E6 check, right? I mean.
Well, that's over my head. I don't know. So.
Yeah. I heard it once in a movie. # Bobby Fischer. That was a tremendous hit. I think he hit it real smooth. It's hard because if you want to hit it a little harder, the ball might hop on you. You know, it's like because you're so close.
Yeah,
to the
because you're
cushion.
elevating too and hitting down on a slight angle.
Uh-huh.
I use the 3 here to try and get on the 5, 2 rails. And if not, I got the 2 right there to get on the 5, you know. But I try to I use the 3 ball, I think, to come 2 rails now. He could peel off the 7 first to open the lane for the 6 while doing so, and that's nothing wrong with that either. Yeah, he wants a little angle here.
If I would have played the 7, I might have played the 7-1 and then gone after the 2 to get on the 6-5 and address that quickly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't mind him leaving the 1. I really don't. Just because
nice
he's going to have to play the 5-6, and he could be
Yeah.
on that end of the table to where he needs the ball there.
Right, a safety valve kind of.
Yeah. Now, that one is the one I would have been more 2 rails aggressive a little bit more. But he's good.
Yeah,
now I
this is
shoot to 5. I don't shoot to 2 right now. I shoot to 5.
You don't bank the 4 into the 8?
Probably not.
Okay. Just checking.
I don't play safe very often from here.
There's a great line from.
So it should be like 5-2-6-1-4, right? 5-2-6-1-4. Is that right? Looks pretty easy. 5-2-6-1-4, 8 and a side, I think.
Just depends on how he comes off that 5.
I mean, he can shoot 6-2-5-1-4, you know. But I think with the 6 or the 5, got to go right now.
Yeah, I kind of want to get the 5 off.
Me
off the
too.
cushion there.
Me too,
It's
for
kinda
sure.
one of those pressure ball. I remember a line Grady had said in a video, you know how when you get above a 9 ball, you're shooting it in the corner. He says a straight ball player would go 1 rail, a 9 ball player would go 2 rails, and a 1 pocket player would play safe.
That's pretty good. And I did see this a few times earlier in some situations with Bobby. He played really great 9 ball, but then he overthought the 8 ball a couple times. You know, like, again, it's
Laboring
not
a little bit too much. Over
and it's just, you know, he's like, if you're, I'm not sure. I would suspect he's had a lot of 8 ball experience, but you never know because you can tell he was a really good player at one time. You know, he's a really good player now, but with taking some time off, you know, he was probably better when he was younger. That's usually how it goes.
They're probably happy he took a 15-year break or whatever it was.
Yeah, well, what happens if you're really trying to become a champion? You kind of ignore 8 ball after you learn a little bit. You know what I mean? You say, oh, you might start with 8 ball as a novice, but then as you want to become a really good player, you go right to rotation. So you can go, if you're not a league player, you can go a long time without playing 8 ball.
Absolutely. I know for me, the only times I've ever played 8 ball have been really in events associated with U.S. amateurs because there's not really an incentive. I mean, I did go and play Darren's 8 ball event in New York just because I had some time and wanted to compete, and there was a tournament that was available, and that was that might be the last big 8 ball event after the IPT.
Well,
really, you know.
Yeah, well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Bobby Stovall, Chris Gentile with a 4th place finish in a great tournament.
Yeah.
It's Jeremy and Raymond right here, but we're going to have what would be the semifinal here.
Next,
Yeah, not too long. Stay tuned, and thanks for joining us. We'll be right back.
Great.